Canada, a country known for its expansive landscapes, cold winters, and nice charm, has always been a major player in the world of aviation. But while giants like Air Canada dominate the skies today, there's a hidden history of airlines that soared and then disappeared over the years. In this video, we're diving into the rise and fall of Canadian airlines you probably never heard of. Join me as we explore the stories of these forgotten giants, their impact on Canadian aviation, and the factors that led to their ultimate demise. Let's rewind the clock and take a step back in time, to an era when Canada's skies were filled with regional carriers, each vying for the chance to provide air travel to a growing nation. While Air Canada became the dominant force, it was far from the only airline to offer service in Canada. The story of Canadian aviation is filled with ambitious ventures, some that made it big, and others that faded into history. The story of Canadian aviation begins in the early 20th century. The creation of Trans-Canada Airlines in 1937, now known as Air Canada, marked the beginning of national carrier for Air Canada. But while Air Canada took off, other airlines began to emerge as well. One such carrier was Pacific Western Airlines, founded in 1946, shortly after World War II. At the time, Canada's aviation sector was still very much in its infancy. Pacific Western, based in Calgary, aimed to connect the growing urban centres of Canada's west. Pacific Western's growth wasn't overnight. At first, it was a small operation providing domestic flights across Western Canada, but by the 1960s and 70s, Pacific Western expanded its reach, offering transborder flights to the US and international flights and services to destinations like Mexico and the Caribbean. In fact, the airline's network expanded across the globe, reaching as far as Europe. Pacific Western's success was not just about its flights, but also about its innovations. It was one of the first airlines to offer regular or scheduled jet service in Canada. As the airline expanded, it played a crucial role in shaping regional air travel in Canada, connecting cities that were previously unreachable by air. Despite the early success, the pressures of an ever-changing aviation market began to take their toll. Airlines across the world were facing stiff competition, rising fuel costs, and economic turbulence. Pacific Western was not immune. The 1980s brought new challenges as the airline industry became more competitive, with smaller carriers fighting for the same routes. But Pacific Western wasn't the only carrier to rise. Wardair was also another contender. Wardair was founded in 1952 by Max Ward, a visionary who wanted to provide the highest level of service and comfort in Canadian aviation. Initially a charter service, Wardair quickly grew into a competitive player, offering luxurious full-service flights to destinations like the Caribbean, Europe, and the US. Wardair's main focus was on creating a luxury upscaled experience for its passengers, compared to other airlines at the time. But even with its high-end service compared to other airlines, Wardair couldn't escape the pressures of the airline industry. As the market shifted, competitions from larger carriers grew fiercer. By the late 1980s, Wardair was struggling to maintain its position. It was eventually acquired by Canadian Airlines in 1989, ending its run as an independent carrier. While the airline itself disappeared, the Wardair legacy lived on through Canada's aviation history. The 1990s brought another major shift in Canadian aviation with the rise and fall of Canadian Airlines International. Founded in 1987 as a merger of several small carriers, Canadian Airlines quickly became the second largest airline in the country, competing head-to-head with Air Canada. The airline's fleet expanded rapidly, offering both domestic and international flights. By the mid-1990s, it was offering services to Asia, Europe, and beyond. Positioning itself as a global competitor for a time, it seemed like Canadian Airlines has found the winning formula. However, Canadian Airlines faced significant financial difficulties. Rising fuel prices, tough competition, and poor management decisions led to mounting losses. By 2000, the airline was struggling to stay afloat, and Air Canada seized the opportunity to acquire Canadian Airlines, swelling up the competition. The acquisition marked the end of Canadian Airlines as an independent entity. Its assets were absorbed into Air Canada, and what has been one of the largest airlines in Canada just became another part of Air Canada's operations. Regional air carriers also played an important role in connecting Canada's vast geography. Air Ontario, founded in 1986, was one such airline. Based in Toronto, Air Ontario serves smaller regional airports flying to cities like Ottawa, Sudbury, and even remote areas of northern Ontario. These regional airlines were essential for communities that couldn't rely on large airlines. Air Ontario provided vital links between smaller cities and Canada's major hubs, offering a lifeline for passengers who otherwise would have been cut off from the rest of the country. Yet, even regional carriers couldn't escape the wave of consolidation that swept to the industry in the 1990s. In 2000s, Air Ontario was absorbed into Air Canada Jazz, a regional branch of Air Canada, effectively ending its run as an independent airline. While these airlines may no longer be in the sky, each played a crucial role in shaping Canada's aviation landscape into what it is now. Pacific Western Airlines laid the foundation for many regional carriers, like Pacific Coastal and Central Mountain Air now in Western Canada. Canadian Airlines brought competition to Air Canada's dominance, and Wardair provided a glimpse of what an alternative luxury airline could have looked like. These airlines were pioneers in their own right, and their innovations have left a lasting imprint on the industry. Today, Canada's skies are still dominated by giants like Air Canada and regional areas like WestJet and Porter Airlines, and even Central Mountain Air and Pacific Coastal, like mentioned earlier, in Western Canada. But every flight path, every terminal, every route we take has its own roots in small airlines that once existed, some of which have been forgotten. Though these airlines may have been folded, their stories are part of a larger narrative and story of Canadian aviation, a story that continues to evolve, connecting our vast country with the world. These forgotten airlines with humble beginnings and ambitious dreams were part of Canada's aviation history, and a central chapter that paved the way for modern air travel we experience today. Though their names may have been faded from the skies, their impact is still felt by the millions of Canadians who travel by air every year. All in all, Canada has a really cool aviation history sector, not just with passenger planes, but also with military planes, like the CF-105 Starfighter, and even more, like the Avro Arrow. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can subscribe for more aviation information if you like. This is also my first video, so please don't hate. I plan on making more videos like this, and learning and getting better over time. Excuse my bad mic quality too. This is like a $50 mic. It's like 5 years old. I tried to make it as best as I could. If you have any suggestions to help me out, that'd be awesome. Again, thank you for watching.